Welcome to this special training, How to Write a Rockstar Resume, which is also known as a CV, Curriculum Vitae, that secures you an interview spot. My name is Amy, and I will be walking you through this training. Now, let's get started. In this training, you'll learn how to write a rockstar resume without a struggle, how to transform your resume and sell yourself to a potential employer, the key qualities your potential employer wants to see on your resume, tricks for writing a high-profile resume that secures you an interview, plus lots more. We'll talk about pretty much everything you need to know to write a resume that will blow your potential employer away and get you results. So you might want to turn off your mobile phone and any other devices that might distract your attention. You might be wondering whether this training is for you. This training is designed to address the areas that most job seekers find difficult when it comes to creating a resume that will catch the attention of their potential employers. You might want to ask yourself these questions. Do I struggle with writing my own resume for a potential employer? Where do I start when writing a resume? How should it look? Am I unsure of what to include, elaborate on, and omit? How do I present my information, qualities, and work history in a manner that makes me attractive to my potential employer? Does the thought of even writing a resume scare me? If you have answered yes to any of these questions, then you can rest assured that you are not alone. I've always found it difficult to write the perfect resume, or even a decent one for that matter. I was once in your shoes. For my first job, I would find example resumes and copy those, or just use my own idea of what a resume should look like. This led to some interesting times, and usually did not result in me getting the job that was just right for me. It's important to note that there are a number of different styles of resumes that you can use, and you may find some styles more suited to you than others. This training is a guide intended to provide you with a template for a resume that contains the most important information that your future employer will want to know. More importantly, the techniques you'll learn in this training have worked for me in the past, so I know they'll work for you too. I'm going to explain all of these points and more, and by the time you have finished watching this training, you will know exactly what you need to do to write a killer resume. You can use this guide to write a resume for any job in any industry. As long as you follow my tips, your resume will get you interviews. Remember, a first impression lasts. Let me share this with you. In my first resume, I followed a set template and I didn't question it at all. It had my name in big letters centered at the top of the page, which was good, and my contact details underneath in minuscule font, not so good. It was only years later, when I had successfully used this resume to apply for and get an internship, after undergoing a 3.5-hour assessment as well as an interview, that the inefficiency of this layout was pointed out to me. Why would I want to make my contact details so hard to read? The cold, hard truth about job applications is that people often don't have much time or patience for other people. The first piece of advice I want to impart to you is that you need to write for the employer and try to put yourself in their shoes. Imagine, for example, that you are the owner of your own small business and don't yet have anyone in charge of recruiting new staff. You still have to take care of deliveries, sales, and advertising on your own, so you just want the perfect new recruit to come along and get right to work. You don't have time for long-winded life stories or trying to read somebody's contact details in some tiny font. You want it all there in front of you, served up on a silver platter. When you sit down to write your resume, you need to picture your future employer in your mind. Think about what the organization is all about and write specifically to the organization. Tailor your resume to their business and the role you will play in it. Contrary to popular opinion, it is not just your cover letter that you need to tailor to each job position. Many people believe that resumes are simply a document designed to list your achievements in chronological order and to let people know everything that you have ever done. If you have ever submitted the exact same resume for two completely different job applications, you probably believe this too. This belief is something that needs to be changed. I will elaborate on this point more as we go through this training because it can mean the difference between getting the job and not even getting a second look. When writing your resume, you can use any number of templates or styles. I have provided a template to give you an idea of where to start. This template is the culmination of a fair amount of research on what makes the perfect resume. Such a thing doesn't actually exist, but there are definitely some common themes which most employers would appreciate seeing in a candidate's resume. To begin with, it is useful to have your name in a relatively large font in the top center of the page. This makes it hard to miss and will hopefully help your resume stick in the employer's mind much longer than other resumes with less eye-catching font sizes. When employers skim through resumes, and most, unfortunately, do just skim through them, they know exactly what they are looking for, so the fonts you use obviously won't win them over all by themselves. Just be aware of the fact that presentation is key to creating a favorable first impression. The next set of information to include is your personal details, such as your phone number, address, and email address, in a clear font at the top of the page. If you are an employer thumbing through a pile of resumes, you don't want to have to search the page for a phone number. These details usually go in the top corner of the page or just underneath your name. Find a style that works for you and that is aesthetically pleasing as well. In the job market, you can get a huge head start on your competitors simply by appearing better qualified than they do by using a stylish design and layout. Quick review. Make your resume unique. Make it stand out from the crowd at first glance so that it will entice your employer to read on. Make sure your name is clear and typed in a large font size. Make your contact details easy to read. You need to sell yourself by emphasizing your key strengths. The time when your potential employer is reading your resume really is your time to shine, and it is crucial that you take advantage of this small window of time where the focus is solely on you. However you feel about yourself, and however unsure or embarrassed you may be about doing this, you need to sell yourself. When you apply for a job and send a resume to an employer, you are asking them to pick you from among many other candidates who may be just as appealing as you are. We all know how tough the job market currently is, and has been for a while, and because it may not change for some time, we need to adapt to our surroundings and toughen up. I don't want you to apply for a job and come across like you're ready for a fight, because that really wouldn't go over well. But it is important to realize the gravity of the situation and that you really do need to push yourself ahead of the pack. It's almost a primal feeling. There are more candidates than positions, so you have to give each application your best shot. Are you feeling revved up and ready to go yet? Good! You'll need to, because the first section you should include underneath your name and contact details is your key strengths. A simple section heading saying Key Strengths with about 6 bullet points will suffice, and will give your potential employer a number of reasons why you should get the job right off the bat. As I said, you don't have much time for messing around. You need to cut straight to the chase. On this note, I want to assure you that you need not be alarmed or scared about appearing to be a pushy person on your resume when that is just not you. Once you've passed the first stage of the job application process and are invited in for an interview, You'll be able to speak to your potential employer or recruitment professional and have a much more personal interaction. Your resume is simply a vehicle to make you stand out from the crowd and to move you on to the interview stage. You'll have time to elaborate later, but for now it's vital to just get down to business. So what do I mean by key strengths? As I said, this all depends on the job at hand. Whether you're applying to be a fashion intern or a truck driver will clearly have some influence on the traits that would be useful in your line of work. Refer to the job advertisement and try to demonstrate that you have the desired traits that it outlines. This will also illustrate that you are competent at responding accurately to the requirements of a task and are a good listener. The better the case you can make for yourself, the more quickly your future employer will realize that hiring you is a no-brainer. First of all, it can be useful to include a short section on your career overview or objectives. Do not spend too much time here. The shorter, the better. This is your self-introduction to your potential employer and is the one section where you are able to be the most personal. Writing this section may involve outlining your relevant experience and your understanding of the field you are working in. I see this section as a mini-biography wherein you not only detail your skills, but describe the situations you thrive in and personally enjoy. Examples of a career overview. With 3 years of retail experience, I understand the importance of customer service. Having worked in the